What if you could download information directly into your brain or upload your memories to a computer? What if you could enhance your cognitive abilities or erase unwanted thoughts? This is not utopia, but reality. In this video, we'll show you the incredible power of brain-computer interfaces and how they can shape the future of humanity. So, what is BCI and why are they worth considering? Well, brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs for short, act as a bridge between our brain and external devices. Originally, BCIs were developed to help paralyzed people control assistive devices just by using their thoughts. But now, they have so many diverse applications. BCIs can be used as training tools to boost our cognitive performance. They're even being used by professionals to increase productivity. Even an office that adjusts the lighting based on your stress levels, or a car that won't let you drive if you're feeling too drowsy. Smart lighting. Now, BCIs are pretty cool because they allow us to monitor brain activity without any invasive procedures. No need to worry about needles or anything like that. Did you know that the healthcare sector is leading the charge when it comes to BCIs? This sector is holding the market's largest share, showing a lot of demand for these devices. And it makes sense. BCIs have the potential to revolutionize medical treatments and improve the lives of people with neurological conditions. These days, we mainly use a technique called electroencephalography, or EEG for short, to keep track of what's going on in our brains. We've also got magnetoencephalography, MEG, which uses these neat magnetometers to pick up on the magnetic fields produced by your brain's electrical activity. Then there's functional magnetic resonance imaging, which sounds fancy, but it's just a way of using MRI technology to see changes in blood flow in your brain. But BCIs have come a long way, and now we have these nifty, non-invasive gadgets like wearable headbands and earbuds. They've really made BCIs more accessible and convenient for everyone. These fantastic non-invasive devices use EEG to help disabled people control their wheelchairs. These BCIs have different levels of assistance, like avoiding obstacles, preventing collisions, and even recovering lost orientation. They even use laser scanners to detect obstacles in real time, though they're still working on making the control more responsive. And if that's not enough, some BCIs are a bit more invasive, meaning they implant electrodes in the brain. They're still in the works, but they aim to address the limitations of the non-invasive ones. However, they do face some challenges, like regulatory approval and those pesky pain-related issues. But the researchers at the University of Twente and the University of California are hard at work, pushing the boundaries of brain-controlled movement. BCIs are not just about mobility, though. They can do some pretty amazing things for treating neurological conditions, too. Take headaches, for instance. BCIs with electrodes can stimulate the trigeminal nerve to provide relief and reduce the frequency of those nasty migraine attacks. And BCIs can also help with psychological suffering. They have spinal cord stimulators that implant electrical impulses to trick the brain into ignoring pain signals. So, if you're dealing with conditions like failed back surgery syndrome or complex regional pain syndrome, these BCIs can be a real game changer. They can even help restore movement. They use EEG to analyze these nifty things called beta oscillations and activate your limbs. It's super handy for things like grasping and getting around. Even more, BCI has made neurofeedback more promising than ever. A fantastic new approach used to treat all sorts of neurological disorders, including depression, autism, anxiety, sleep disorders, ADHD, and even schizophrenia. So, here's how it works. Neurofeedback helps retrain your brainwave patterns through feedback mechanisms. Basically, they stick these little electrodes on your scalp and earlobe, and you watch a screen as your brainwaves do their thing. Gradually, you learn to control specific brain areas and make behavioral changes. Now, Emotive Inc. in California offers real-time brain monitoring systems. And guess what? They're accommodating for individuals dealing with ADHD. So, if your brain needs a little extra attention and focus, these guys have got your back. And researchers at the University of Chicago have come up with a mind-blowing solution for paralyzed individuals. They've developed this system that connects your brain to a robotic arm through a brain-computer interface. They use biomimetic mapping to map out the relationship between your brain activity and arm movement. And the robotic arm can even provide sensory feedback based on what your brain is telling it. BCIs are also making strides in speech recognition for people with impairments. Those brainy researchers at the University of Bremen in Germany are working on BCIs that can decode neural signals to help with automatic speech recognition. they're testing out technologies like EEG, MRI, MEG, and near-infrared spectroscopy. And the good news is early research with epilepsy patients has shown some incredible results, giving hope to those who struggle with speech. The University of Southampton is creating a computational system that mimics the human brain. They're using these teensy-tiny nanoscale devices called memristors. These little devices detect neural signals and can even integrate with prosthetics and implants. Although this technology is still in its early stages, the possibilities are mind-blowing. Who knows what the future holds? One exciting aspect of BCIs is the way they can work together with prosthetics and implantable electronics. By combining these technologies, we can create even more advanced and impactful devices. In fact, in the last 5 years, there's been a surge in patent filings for neuroprosthetics, rehabilitation, epilepsy treatment, and robotics. Whether it's restoring lost senses, improving speech recognition, or even creating artificial neural networks, BCIs are paving the way for a better future. Sure, some of these technologies are still in the early research phases, but they hold so much promise for improving the lives of individuals with various conditions. But BCIs are not limited to healthcare only. It's no surprise that the military is always looking for new ways to up their game, and brain-computer interfaces are no exception. DARPA has been funding all sorts of BCI projects since the 1970s, but they might only be telling us a fraction of what's really going on. China, Russia, and the European Union are probably cooking up their own secret BCI projects behind those closed doors. DARPA has this super cool project called Silent Talk. Sometimes on the battlefield it's important to stay silent and stealthy. That's where Silent Talk comes in. Instead of using hand signals as they do now, soldiers will be able to communicate with each other using BCIs without making a single sound. And they're teaming up with Microsoft and Airbus for some serious high-tech gear. There's this new AR headset called the HoloLens 2 that's being made specifically for the US military. These helmets are connected to BCIs and let soldiers receive orders from a remote outpost. BCI gaming. So, if brain-computer interfaces are good enough for warfare, they're definitely going to level up the gaming experience too. We mean, gamers and game developers are always pushing the boundaries, right? And there's no one better at that than Valve and their CEO, Gabe Newell. Valve has been smashing it in the digital realm for years. They created this physics engine called Source back in 2004 and later followed it up with the even more fantastic Source 2. But Valve has been diving into the virtual reality world with their VR headset called Valve Index, and they even developed a killer game called Half-Life Alyx to show off the potential. And Newell has a vision for BCIs in gaming. In an interview with One News, he spilled the beans about how Valve works with open BCI headsets and develops open source software to dive deep into our brains and understand how games stimulate our responses. OpenBCI released this Galia headset, designed to work with Valve Index, and Newell believes that BCIs are the future of gaming. He even said that if you're a software developer in 2022 and you don't have one of these in your test lab, well, you're making a silly mistake. But let's break it down even further. Valve wants to make gaming more natural and intuitive. They're tired of games with 17 buttons that make your head spin. Instead, they're aiming for something more naturalistic. And the visuals? Newell isn't satisfied with our basic human vision. He dreams of a future where BCIs can beam mind-blowing visuals straight into our heads. With all this progress, the brain-computer interface's future looks promising, with significant growth expected in various industries. And that's a glimpse into the exciting future of brain-computer interfaces. If you found this information intriguing, please like and subscribe to stay updated. Until next time, stay curious.